The Lenovo ThinkPad L13 Yoga Gen 2 is part of the ThinkPad L series for cost-conscious customers looking for an entry-level business 2-in-1 laptop. The Gen 2 model has an up-to-date Tiger Lake processor and a Thunderbolt 4 port. Is it worth the update? Let's find out. Lenovo have kept the tried and tested design and chassis from the L13 Yoga Gen 1, which is not a bad thing. The materials used are a mixture of aluminium and glass fiber reinforced plastic. The top cover is a smooth finish instead of the traditional rubberized texture on the other ThinkPad T series. The L13 Yoga is tested to military standard 810H to survive in extreme environmental conditions. The keyboard deck and display cover is very stable and strong enough to take a knock or two. It tips the scales at 1.38 kilograms or just over 3 pounds. For a 2-in-1 it's a good balance of weight to features. The dual metal hinges are sturdy for 360 positions including laptop, tent, stand and tablet modes. Lenovo even designed a good bezel grip for your left hand when it's in tablet mode. The included stylus is stored in the keyboard deck and conveniently charges while parked. To access the bottom cover, undo the 9 screws to open the bottom lid. Memory is soldered on and therefore non-upgradable. The 46 Wh battery is removable along with the PCIe NVMe M.2 SSD to increase storage. The 13.3-inch IPS Full HD touchscreen is a very good screen to work on. It does a good job with the anti-reflective coating in sunlight or office lighting. Brightness is good at 300 nits. Viewing angles are excellent from the IPS panel. Colours are vivid and sharp, rated at 72% NTSC, allowing for a spot of Photoshop work with this display. The display has a 10-point multi-touch touchscreen for finger gesture or working with the included stylus pen. The 2 hinges are strong and sturdy when working in touchscreen mode. Tip: don't go for the cheaper 250 nits model if you can help it. The included ThinkPad Pen Pro stylus is stored in the keyboard deck and conveniently charges when parked. The stylus has charging pogo connectors towards the top of the pen and 2 physical buttons. The buttons are programmable using the Lenovo Pen Settings app. The pen is generally good and responsive for occasional note-taking or some light Photoshop tasks. It could do with being a bit thicker to grip, and the 2048 levels of pressure sensitivity won't compete with the superior Surface Pen or HP's Active Pen. On the left we have a USB 3.2 Gen 1 Type-C, also used for charging the laptop. USB-C Thunderbolt 4 with DisplayPort, power delivery, side mechanical docking connector, 1 USB 3.2 Gen 1 Type-A always on, and a headphone microphone combo. On the right we have a Kensington lock, HDMI 2.0, USB 3.2 Gen 1 Type-A port, micro SD card reader, on-off button, and a slot for the Garage ThinkPad Pen Pro. There's an optional smart card reader on the front of the laptop for enterprise login authentication. Internally there is an Intel Wi-Fi 6 AX201 wireless card with Bluetooth 5.1. Wireless coverage is excellent if linked to a Wi-Fi 6 router or access point. No issues connecting across 2 rooms, and transfer speeds were very good during testing. The 2-level backlit and spill-resistant keyboard is outstanding. Typical ThinkPad. Excellent typing action, great travel, and key spacing is almost perfect. Some keys are smaller to fit the 13.3 chassis dimensions. If you need to type a lot, this keyboard is class leading. The touchpad is smooth and accurate. The integrated buttons are quiet in use. Dimensions are on the small size if we're nitpicking compared to the competition. The quintessential track point with separate buttons is present on the L13. Accurate track point usage when using it in a confined space. Voice audio sounds muted due to the bottom firing dual speakers, lacking bass with above average audio quality. It gets plenty loud at high volume without distortion, so you could happily use it on a Zoom or Teams video conference. Talking of which, the 720p camera has an average video quality at best. There's dual array microphones to pick up your voice clearly in the Zoom call. The webcam is complemented by IR sensors for Windows Hello authentication. Lenovo have also included a Think shutter for camera privacy. This review model has a 11th gen Intel Core i7 1165G7 beating at a base clock of 2.8 GHz, up to 4.7 GHz in turbo boost mode. The Tiger Lake processor has 4 cores and 8 threads using a power consumption of 28 watts. Along with 16 GB of DDR4 soldered on memory and a fast 512 GB of PCIe NVMe M.2 SSD, performance is strong, flying through office tasks to light Adobe work, limited only by the 16 GB of maximum RAM. Benchmarking results show excellent scores. Cinebench R23 testing produced a score of 3,458 multi-core and 1,007 in single-core. 3D Mark TimeSpy results came in with a CPU score of 2,882 and a graphics score of 1,013. PC Mark 10 has an overall score of 4,937 and superposition resulted in a score of 1,398. Geekbench 5.31 CPU test gave a multi-core score of 4,046 and 1,430 single-core, while the compute test gave a score of 13,792 points. The i7-1165G7 sits just below the AMD Ryzen 7 Pro 4750U and the i7-9850H. Fan noise is fairly loud when taxed or under heavy load, so not great for quiet working environments. When it isn't taxed, the fan is very quiet and barely noticeable. The L13 Yoga gets warm on the left third of the keyboard, while the fan at the back pumps out the fairly warm air from the CPU. Bottom vents are slightly warm to the touch. Overall, it's not too hot to be considered an issue. The i7-1165G7 is paired with the Intel Iris Xe integrated graphics, running at a base clock of 400 MHz to 1300 MHz boost. The iGPU relies on the system memory and runs faster if you have dual channel memory installed. Older games will play fine in low to medium settings. Simple games like Roblox or CSGO will run with no issues. Examples like Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order will struggle at around 70 frames per second in medium setting. Same with Forza Street Hot Wheels, only playable on low settings. The 4-cell 46 Wh battery will give you approximately 5 to 6 hours general usage or around 8 hours video playback. Disappointingly that it won't last a full day at the office. The good news is plug the L13 Yoga into the mains for just 60 minutes and rapid charge will yield up to 80%. The business-orientated ThinkPad L13 Yoga has several security features to keep your data safe. A fingerprint sensor for login authentication, there's a webcam privacy shutter to keep prying eyes away, and a convenient microphone on-off button. A TPM 2.0 security chip is present for hardware encryption, and an optional smart card reader is available for enterprise login options. Top 3 pros and cons before buying the Lenovo ThinkPad L13 Yoga Gen 2 2-in-1. ThinkPad Pen Pro. The stylus pen has the convenience of being mounted inside the corner of the chassis and acts as a charging point too. No rummaging around looking for the pen and replacing AAA batteries every so often. It's not perfect to use for long periods, but useful nonetheless. Durable chassis. Typical ThinkPad built quality, especially when it's a 2-in-1 device. You feel that it's sturdy and durable enough to open and close the lid to the 4 positions without worrying how reliable it will be in the long run. Plenty of ports. For a 13.3-inch laptop, Lenovo have packed a generous number of ports and connectors, 2 USB Type-A and 2 USB Type-C ports, plus HDMI 2.0 and a microSD card reader. You'd be lucky to find this on some larger 15.6-inch laptops. Soldered on memory. Laptop manufacturers like Apple and Lenovo have used soldered on RAM with their slim devices to save on space and cost. The downside, of course, is that you can't upgrade the memory. If you're a power user, the maximum 16GB might not be enough for heavyweight apps like Adobe Premiere Pro or Photoshop, for example. Better brightness. 300 nits on this model is fine for indoor use, but a slightly brighter 400 nits screen would have helped if you work near a window or you need to take the Yoga outside to work on. So-so battery life. The battery life is above average but not class leading. This is a compromise with performance over battery life, especially the components used in the ThinkPad L13 Yoga. It would have been nice to get the battery life over 8 to 9 hours for a full day's work. If you were in the market for a 13.3-inch 2-in-1 laptop, what other laptops would you be looking at? In no particular order, here's some to consider. HP EliteBook X360 830G8, Dell Inspiron 13 2-in-1, Asus ZenBook Flip S13 OLED, Acer TravelMate Spin B3. If you have the first gen L13 Yoga, there are only subtle upgrades like the updated Tiger Lake processor and Thunderbolt 4. If you're new to the ThinkPad L13 Yoga Gen 2, you'll get a solid chassis, excellent ThinkPad keyboard, a plethora of ports, security features and decent display panel. Don't forget you get the 2-in-1 modes to work with and a convenient garage ThinkPad Pen Pro stylus for the odd times you need it for note-taking or to sign a form. There's only a maximum of 16GB soldered on RAM, above average battery life and no 4G SIM slot option if your work takes you on the road. They can be forgiven at this price point. The Lenovo ThinkPad L13 Yoga Gen 2 remains an excellent convertible for price-conscious businesses or individuals. Overall, outstanding value for a business 2-in-1 laptop. What do you guys think? Leave your comments and discuss below. Hope you guys enjoyed the review of the Lenovo ThinkPad L13 Yoga Gen 2 2-in-1 laptop. Please click on the like button if you enjoyed this review video and subscribe if you would like to watch more of our tech videos. Thanks for watching. Cheers.